they used their bully pulpit. They meaning like the aides of President Biden, the CDC, the Surgeon General's office. They use their power to go and manipulate social media companies and force them effectively under threat to censor anyone that posted speech that contradicted their COVID policy priorities, right? So if you posted, for instance, that the Cochrane mask study showing that there wasn't very good evidence even before the pandemic that masks were very effective at reducing the spread of highly infectious respiratory diseases, respiratory viruses, well, you're going to get censored. If you posted about school closures, you're going to get censored. If you post that the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting or spreading COVID, you're going to get censored. The social media companies put in place automated algorithms, AI algorithms, to identify posts that violated the things the government told them ought to be censored, and then censored them. They did this not just with these AI, and they used like universities to like as sort of like to launder these censorship efforts. So they gave a whole bunch of money to Stanford through the NSF. Then Stanford Internet Observatory embedded themselves within these social media companies, and to hold these social media companies, oh, these are the posts that are like violating, that are spreading misinformation, where the priorities are given to Stanford essentially by the government. Right, the NSF says, here's what we think is important for misinformation, and so you have this sort of direct violation of normal standards of free speech rights in this country, and unfortunately, not just this country. It's actually all through the West. Tremendous pressure on these social media companies to censor otherwise legal speech because it contradicted the priorities of the policies of the administration. They even censored like honestly vaccine injured, like groups of vaccine injured people talking with each other about how to cope with the conditions that they have. Normal patient support groups, which are like you normally in medicine would encourage, but they censored them. They took those Facebook groups down at the behest of the direct threatening emails by the Biden administration. The Missouri versus Biden case. We brought this case, the Missouri and Louisiana Attorney General's office brought this case in 2022, August of 2022. I was a co-plaintiff in the case. And the discovery in the case, we got to read the emails of the Surgeon General's office, the White House, the FBI, the CDC, and it's absolutely shocking, Randy. As an American, I never thought I would see the day where there's just this like blatant disregard for free speech rights as a matter of policy of the government, the bureaucracy, and of the administration. And the lower court judges who looked at this, they were absolutely aghast. And so in July 2023, Judge Terry Doughty in Louisiana, he ordered the Biden administration to dismantle this censorship complex. He called it a ministry of truth in his ruling. He literally called it a ministry of truth. The appeals court that looked at it, they made an analogy to Al Capone, the Chicago gangster who would go around to Chicago businesses and say, that's a nice business you got there. It'd be terrible if something were to happen to it. That's the nature of the way that the government threatened social media companies with regulation that would put them out of existence if they didn't comply with the censorship orders. And of course, most of them did. All of them did. And they ordered the Biden administration to stop. The Biden administration appealed the case to the Supreme Court. And I went in the Supreme Court entirely naive, thinking, how on earth is any Supreme Court justice going to find this legal? This is ridiculous. Such a clear-cut violation of the American First Amendment. It was going to be 9-0 in our favor, I thought. But we lost in the Supreme Court against actually was that issue in the Supreme Court was a preliminary injunction, right? The injunction against the Biden administration to stop coercing social media companies to censor. That injunction, it was put in place by the lower courts because it's so likely they were going to win the case that they wanted to put and the harm from the First Amendment violation is so egregious that they put this injunction in place even before the case has been heard. So you go to the Supreme Court looks at the case, and they decide that I and the other plaintiffs don't have standing to sue, even though I was censored directly, with devastating takedowns by people like Francis Collins, like where we have emails essentially directing government officials to conduct devastating takedowns of me.
If you liked this video, check out the full interview. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thanks for watching.